Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to Learn to Read Qur'an. So last time we covered Surah Al-Fatiha, which is the opening chapter of the Qur'an, and effectively what we're going to do in today's class is effectively we're going to the back of the Qur'an because we're going to read the very last chapter of the Qur'an, which is Surah An-Naas. And we know from, we've spoken about before, that when we are preparing to read Quran, we start with the isti'adha. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, then please go to the lesson where we cover what we need to say while we're preparing to read Quran. So we start with أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, and then in today's lesson we start here on line 1. And we've done this before because this is the Basmala. So we start all our surahs with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most merciful, the extremely kind. So we will pronounce this, and we'll be doing this so many times, I'm sure it will become very easy for you, inshallah. So we have Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We don't join that, so let me just rub that out. So let's start from the beginning. We have Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And remember, when we stop, it's as if there is a sukoon on the last letter. The last letter here is the meme. So I ignore the vowel and I imagine that there is a sukoon. Sukoon allows me to join up. So I get the 2 count stretch here from the kasra with the ya, and then I get the meme at the end with the sukoon. Okay, let's carry on and we'll have the first, here we go, number 1, the first ayah of this surah. We have قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّن Nas. Okay, so let's look at this again and see what I did. I had a qaf here, thick heavy qaf with a damma, and I'm joining it to the lam. Qul. Then the sharp noise of the hamza, ah. Then the 2 count stretch on the ayn, au, dhu. That's the short noise of the damma. Then we have a ba with a kasra, b, a ra with a fatha, so it's thick and heavy, joining to the ba with the shadda. Rab, that's me joining into the ba, and you can hear that there is no noise to be heard because that first ba, my lips are pressed, so you don't get any noise. You only get the noise really of the ba when you come and you say the kasra on the ba, when the lips open. But you must make sure that you give enough time to show that there are 2 bas in this one place. So Rabbin, the ba with the kasra now joins over to the noon with the shadda. The hamza to wasl gets missed out, the lam gets missed out. So we're joining to the noon with the shadda. And noon with shadda means ghunna. Be generous with the ghunna, it really does beautify the recitation of the Qur'an. So we have قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّن. See, you can hear the ghunna. Rabbin nas. 2 count stretch here, and then I'm putting a sukoon as if there was no kasra on the scene. Okay, let's carry on. We'll do the next ayah, ayah number 2, here on line 3. Ma li kin nas. Very similar ending, isn't it? You'll hear that this ending is pretty much the same at the end of each of these ayahs. So we have a short sound on the meme because of the fatha, ma, li, and now the kaf with the kasra is joining over to the noon with the shadda. You hold the ghunna, you get the 2 count stretch, and then you have the sin with the sukoon that you are putting on. Okay, let's go through. Ayah number 3, here on line 4. La hinnas. So we got our 2 count stretch there. I think that's pretty straightforward because this word here is repetitive. So we've gone through that a couple of times. I think now on this third ayah, you're most really well aware of how to pronounce this. Let's carry on and do ayah number 4 here on line 5. Well, here, let's have a look. We have a meme with a kasra and a noon with nothing on. So let's do a quick run through of our mental checklist when we see a noon with nothing on. This is going back to those noon rules that we spent quite a few lessons on. So if you have a noon with nothing on, no vowel, no sukoon, the first thing you must do is look and see what letter comes next. If there was a letter with a shadda, we'd have joined up. Nope, no letter with shadda here. If there was a waw or a ya, we would have also joined. But look, it's a sheen. So that means actually what we are left with, our option now, which we take, is that we hold the ghunna. So you can see that ghunnas will occur a lot when we're reading Qur'an, which is why we spent all those lessons on the rules of the ghunna. So we have من شر الوسواس الخناس. Okay, let's just outline in red, maybe anything that might be a bit tricky. Well, first of all, the noon with nothing on, we had to remember to hold the ghunna. The ra with the shadda and the kasra, we had to make sure the ra got its time for the 2 ra's that are there. Sharril. But that the ra with kasra is light and it's joining to this lam here with the sukoon. Then the waw with the fatha is joining to the sin with the sukoon. This waw here with the fatha and the alif gets a 2 count stretch. And the sin here is joining to the lam with the sukoon. We miss out the hamzat al-wasl. The kha, which is thick and heavy, then has to join to the noon with the shadda. The noon with the shadda gets its time for ghunna. Then the fatha with the alif gives us our 2 count stretch, and we end as if there was a sukoon on the sin, and we ignore the kasra. So that's picking apart ayah number 4. Let's move on. We will carry on with ayah number 5 here on line number 6. Okay, we have a hamzat al-wasl. How are we going to start on it? Yes, you're right. We are going to start as if it is an actual hamza with a fatha. Why with a fatha? Because the next letter is a lam. And I know you know that, so I'm not going to worry. And I'm not going to tell you to look back at the hamzat al-wasl lesson, unless, of course, you didn't know it. And then you do need to look back. So we have al, the, you, was, we, su, fi. So this is the fa with the kasra and the ya. This gives me a 2 count stretch. Su, nice thick heavy sod. Do, this 2 count stretch here with the dal with the waw. Rinnas. That's me putting the sukoon on the sin. So there was a bit going on there. Let's see if there's anything we need to really pick out. Well, actually, funnily enough, I'm going to pick out this wow here. You think, that's a bit random. Why is she picking that wow out? Because when you start to read Qur'an in these ayahs, things can start to slip. Things can start to get a little bit less accurate than when you were just reading short words. And one of the things I've noticed while I've been teaching all these years, well, I've been teaching, but I think for nearly 20 years now, is that the kasras start to become eh noises rather than e noises. So I'm just picking on that. So when we're reading this ayah, it will be الذي يوسوس, because the amount of times I've heard يوسوس, which is not very pretty, not very nice, and not accurate. So be careful of the kasra on this wow. And then also make sure you get a nice thick heavy noise for the sad. Su, do, make sure you get the 2 count stretch in there, and make sure the ra is light because of the kasra. Okay, so we are on the last ayah, ayah number 6, here on line 7. We have mi nal jinnati wan nas. And we got the sukoon there. Okay, what am I going to tell you to be careful with? Well, I'm actually going to be telling you to be careful with this noon here. Why? Well, because again, things can happen that shouldn't, and people end up saying minnel. And it's not minnel with a join from the meme to the noon. There is no join. There would have to be some sort of shadda on the noon for that to happen. It is clear. It is minel. Yeah, not minnel. And then this noon here, make sure you keep that fatha to the short noise that fatha is. Jinna. So yes, you hold the ghunna. Of course, you hold the ghunna because of the shadda on the noon. But please don't stretch the fatha. It does not get a stretch. It's not jannati. It's sorry, it's not even jinnati. It's jinnati. One nas. Yes, here you've got the 2 count stretch because of the fatha with the alif, and I put the sukoon on the scene as if there is no kasra. So that is a very slow and methodical and hopefully meticulous run through of our Surah An-Naas. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rub out all of these markings that I've put on, and then I'm going to recite this for you in a more fluent way so that you can see how it will hear. So give me a second, I'll rub all this out. So here we go, a nice, clean, fresh page, and I'm going to start reciting. Obviously, before you start reciting, you need to say the isti'adha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. And here we go, line 1. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. So, inshallah, keep on practicing, everybody, and I'll see you again next time for our next surah, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.